guys, welcome to the channel. I'm headed to my very first hole of the day. Done got the boat put in. Of course, I got the boat put in. I'm headed across the middle of the lake. And we're out here only a couple days before Christmas here in northern Alabama. It is above 60 degrees, probably gonna reach 65 or 66 degrees today. That's awesome. Love fishing these warm spells in the winter, and here in Alabama we have them. We go from below freezing for 2 or 3 days, maybe 3 or 4 days at the most, and then the next day it could be 70. You never know in Alabama. The weather changes daily, and hopefully this is gonna be an enjoyable and productive trip. I know it's gonna be enjoyable because I'm not freezing to death. So you guys hang out with me, and let's see if we can't put one in the boat. Only got a short time. Putting in here at midday. It's after 12. Gonna fish till about 4 and call it a day. So we might get to come back tomorrow. If not, we're gonna see what we can do today. Stay tuned. Let's see what we can do. Alright guys, I want to show you what I'm starting with today and where I'm fishing. I'm starting with a little small finesse jig. I believe this is actually one of the an older Bitsy Bug jig. I forgot the exact name of the trailer I'm using, but it's got some blue mixed in with that green. I like those colors in that green pumpkin in the winter. Sometimes I'll go with like a more of an orange, but I seem to do better with the green pumpkin type jigs, or either just the traditional black and blue in the winter. But today I'm starting with this water's not real terribly stained, it's fairly clear, so I'm going with the green pumpkin. And what I'm doing is I'm up in this pocket. I started out on the point, and I'm basically fishing the ditch that is in the depths of this pocket where the little feeder stream used to run. Makes a ditch out here in the middle, and I'm working both sides of it and down in the middle of it and just looking for a bite. I haven't really graphed back and forth across here very much. As coming up in here, I have seen a few fish, so and they seem kind of random today. I've seen some tucked up near the bottom close to brush. That's what it looked like. And then I've seen some in the 10-15 foot range suspended. Had I brought my A-rig with me, that might have been, or my jerk baits, that might have been a thing to go after. But I'm bottom fishing mainly today. Only got a few hours, so I'm gonna throw a jig and I'm gonna throw a drop shot, and I'm gonna work some of these ditches and some steeper banks that I have worked already this winter, and see if they've still got some fish. So far, no bite, but it is a absolute beautiful winter day. You can't really ask for a better winter day than this. Northern Alabama we're blessed with some off and on weather, and when it's on, buddy, it's really on. So hang out like before. As soon as I get a bite, I'm gonna let you in on what type of water it was in, how deep it was in, and what I was using. We're gonna keep on work this pocket about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm gonna look for a different place. I'm gonna try to cover, in my 3 or 4 hours that I've got today, I'm gonna try to cover several. That may be a fish right there, boys. Got him while I was talking. That may be a good one. He was down there deep, 5 feet deep. He got some horsepower to him anyway. Let's see if we can get him in, get a look at him. Don't want to horse him. I'm on this little jig. It doesn't have a huge hook. Oh yeah, that's decent. It's not gonna be no monster, but hey, we'll take him. Get on in here. Get on in here. Love it. I absolutely love it. Gonna be a fine one too, boys. Ooh, he's cold. Check my little jig out in his mouth. The little green pumpkin bitsy bug jig. He whopped it. Alright, I'm gonna say he whopped it. He didn't really hit it. That was a very light bite. I'm gonna say that's a 17, 18 inch fish at least. Let's get him back in. Away he goes. No harm, no foul on that one. Alright guys. That is a really, really good start. Better check my line. He had that thing in his mouth. Feels good. And give you one more look. That pretty little jig right there. Fishing it in the ditches. And textbook winter time fishing. The water temp is 51 degrees. Almost 52, but it is in the 50s, low 50s. That fish was about 25 feet deep, and I have drifted up shallower, so I'm gonna be hitting a little shallower water. I'm still in the ditch, but I'm closer into the back now since I've drifted up in here and made a tangle. There we go. So we'll see if there's any more on the shallower end of this ditch toward the bank, and then we're gonna turn back around and get out going the other way. And what I was doing was just barely moving that thing. I was keeping it moving, but I mean dragging it to where it stayed in contact with the bottom. I wasn't ripping it off the bottom or anything like that. I was just pulling it so it stayed in contact with that bottom, and gave it a twitch every now and then, but most of the time it was just being pulled. So it would how about that? Old Hawk didn't want me to talk. So it'll stay in contact with that bottom. Anyway, if we get a hold of another one, I'll let you in on it. Hang with me. Alright guys, we're pulled up now to our second. I'm not sure this is going to really qualify as a really defined drain or ditch. It's an indention in the bank. It's where it's going to have a depression, but it's not, I don't think it's going to have enough for like an old creek bed to run through it or anything. It's just an indention in the bank. It transitions from shallow over to deep. We just came out of 90 feet of water. We're now drifted up into 30 and 40 feet. Throwing shallow, we're probably in 20 feet deep. And it's just a depression that changes composition on the bottom from smaller sandy rocks to bigger stuff, then back to sandy. So it's kind of a drain, but it's not as defined as the first one I was fishing. On down this bank, there's going to be some ditches and drains that comes in that will be more pronounced. So we're going to fish them all. This is my second actual ditch. I have fished a long, deeper bank since the last clip. Did not get a bite there. That was an area that I had caught fish a couple weeks ago that was just stacked up. They did not seem to be in there today. I didn't see as many on the graph. I didn't drag the drop shot out yet because once I got bit on a jig, I wanted to keep that up if I could. But we may not, you know, we may have to fish a few of these, and then on our way back we may have to pull the drop shot out and finesse them a little more. But hey, it is still a beautiful day. The sun's beaming. It's almost too warm for this sweatshirt. I know I'm gonna need it as another hour or so and the sun starts getting low, it'll get cooled off again. But it has been a gorgeous day out here, and maybe we're gonna drag one out. It'd be nice to get one out of each one of these different holes I'm gonna stop on, but this first one, not as much confidence as some of the other ones, but we're gonna hit it anyway because we're gonna pass right by it, and it is a good winter spot. So we're gonna try it, and if not, we're gonna move on down to the next one. Got it. Oh no, it came off. Man. Man. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, in the boat. In the boat. Alright guys, jig fish number 2. Back in another ditch. Boy, he had a mouthful. He ain't all that big, but that's okay. Wintertime fishing, when you get a bite, you take everything you can get. How about that? Ain't he pretty? Anyway, tell you about this little area that I'm in. I don't know if, well, you can't see from the camera view right this minute, but if it swings back around, back to my left, you'll see I'm actually sitting fairly shallow. I'm in 10, 11 feet of water. I'm actually in the ditch, pointed out toward deep water. My little blue trailer got lost. I have misplaced my other pack of these little Rage Crawl trailers, and I think this one, the color is actually Bama Crawl. So I have changed trailers. Same little green pumpkin jig, and I'm literally sitting in the back of the little pocket, throwing out deep, and I'm just imagining from where the bank, where the little stream would run in to where it comes out in here, and I'm throwing what would be up on the sides of that little stream, old creek bed, down in the middle of it and up on the other side. Thought I had a bite there while I was talking. Man, that'd be something if he'd have hit it on the fall going down. But that's what I'm doing. I'm working these ditches because it's a pattern you can run when you catch them in these areas. This is a really good place to find you another place that looks just like it, sets up just like it. Right now the wind, man, I am in the brush. Everything feels like a bite. Every time you move it, you hit a limb. And that's these old bushes and small trees that are still on the bottom from when the lake was impounded. But when you get in those, they feel like a bite, so you have to make sure that that's not a bite. And then you want to rattle that jig in those limbs. Drop it back down, pull it up until it hits one. Tap it on that limb, drop it back down again. Bring those fish in to you. I'm going to work this spot. I'm going to hit it 10-15 minutes like the other one. I'm going to move on, and maybe we can fish 3 or 4 or 5 of these ditches before the sun gets low and gets cold again. Right now it's just beautiful out here. Anyway, I'll let you know when I grab another one, or if I grab another one, and then we're going to do some drop shotting a little later, about the last hour before the sun goes down. over in a different area. So hang out with me. Let's see if we can put one more jig fish in the boat. Man, I'm staying in the brush. You just almost feel like every time you rattle that limb, something's gonna get it, but it doesn't always do that. All right, hang out with me. Guys, if you can see out here in front of me where the cow is actually walking, that is what we're talking about with a ditch. That little old stream coming into this pocket is the start of the ditch as it comes out into the water. Now, where it went after it comes out, I'm not sure. Haven't graphed around. Did get a bite on the other ditch that I just left, but he got off. And then I threw back in there in that same brush and broke off my jig. So I decided to move. And but that is a very well-defined ditch coming into the lake. The bank slopes down. It's an original little stream bed. And when it rains hard, that will be an inflow into the, and that often draws fish in as well. Haven't got a bite just yet right here. We're not going to spend a lot of time. It's already about 2:40, 2:45. Maybe about 3 o'clock I'm going to head. Yeah, got one more spot, and then I'm heading to the other side of the lake and do some drop shotting before it gets dark. There's one. Alright guys, pulled up on a point, heading back in. Drop shotted down here under the boat and have hopefully got us another good one in the boat. Man, I thought it was small when I set the hook. He didn't really show out till I got him nearly up here to the boat. Wow, he was a little bigger than I thought on the tiniest of little hooks. If I can get it out. Let's see where my little tools are. He's right in the roof of the mouth. It should come right out, and it did. There's my little worm. I hope you can see that little fella. Little 4-inch. Been my go-to drop shot bait. Check him out. That's not as quite as big as the first one today, but he's heavy. And he is a lot bigger than I thought. He didn't fight till I got him nearly the boat, and then he took off. I said I might better turn my camera on. All right, get him back in the water. Maybe he won't splash me. Right here at the boat, I had a couple of little bites underneath that I really thought were just brim, bluegill, something. They shook it for a minute, and so I left it down there, not really expecting a lot. You know, I thought, well, maybe I'll catch a brim. I was just about to pull my anchor up and go on across, and said, no, I'm gonna shake it again. I've got a couple of bites. I'm gonna let it down there, and man, he caught me off guard. Now that's not the first time that I have felt like I have had brim bites in the last month or so, and turned out there's bass with them. You know, brim they grab something and they just rattle it and run off, and a lot of times they'll strip your little worm off or whatever. If you're live baiting, they'll grab the tail end of that live worm or whatever and strip it off. And that's what these bites were feeling like. So I was about to leave, and I don't know why I left it in there one more time. I just thought to myself, I'm gonna leave that in there one more time. It's getting bit. It'd be silly to leave when it's actually getting bit. Wow, was not expecting a fat little largemouth to hit it. But that's 3 in the boat. I let two nice fish get off on a jig. I got one about halfway the boat. He came off. I got one wrapped in a tree, and it had to be broke off. Actually, he broke off. He got off before I had to end up breaking my line. He wrapped me up pretty good. But we're I'm ready to move across. Thought I had another bite again while I was talking. These fish are funny today. They catch me at the strangest times when they decide to bite. But I'm fishing to move across. I know I just caught a fish, but I'm running out of daylight, and I got one more spot that I want to stop in on. See if we can put one in. But this is what I've gone to. I hope you can see it. I know that sun's back there. A little 4-inch, and I've used this a lot this winter. A little 4-inch live color cream scoundrel with about I think an 1/8 maybe ounce drop shot weight. Anyway, I'll get right back with you. I'm gonna go get set up, and we're gonna see if we can put a couple more in the boat. We still got maybe an hour before it's completely dark, so let's get after it. There's one. Alright guys, we got us another on. Not a monster, but we're gonna get him, try to get him in here without letting him get off. I don't think I need my net for him. If he'll just behave. Fat little joker. Oh, my hook fell out. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? Man, that sun just jumped over behind that cloud. It got 10 degrees or 15 degrees cooler all of a sudden. There he is. Get him back. This is a good winter spot I'm sitting on. It's a flat that runs out. I'm talking about when I say run out to deep water. It truly runs out to some seriously deep water. Right behind me, if you could go about 50 yards, you'd probably be in 80 feet of water. I'm sitting in 22 right here, out on the point of this flat. And all around here is the terrain is just so diverse. You just have to hunt and peck and look for what feels right. There's still some brush, but this is a really rocky area. And there's another one while we're talking. And this area's got crawfish. It's good for shad to get up around. And obviously the bass are around. Get up here, Junior. Now these are not the quality side. Now that one's a largemouth. That other one I believe was a spot. I don't know why I didn't mention that before, but this is a largemouth. So largemouth and spots right together. And I'm seeing bait fish, and I saw bait fish coming in to this spot. Where you've got bait, you got bass. And these fish, this water has dropped since I've been here. It's 50 degrees now, so it's actually gone down a little, or at least in this area. These fish could care less, I believe. They're hitting. Oh, there's another bite, I think. Oh, I let him off. It was a bite. I have stumbled right into a school of fish is what's happened. If I get another bite right here on the third cast, I'm going to put this one down, pick up my jig, and see if there's not a bigger fish in this bunch. Sometimes you just get lucky and you find the fish before you have to look all over the whole place. And that's what happens with this one. This spot, I just landed on the right spot, I think. I knew the area I wanted, but sometimes I really have to hunt and peck to find where the fish are over here. There's a bite. Oh no. Alright, he took my worm. That's a good excuse to put that jig in there. Let me get this up. Alright. Since the last fish on the jig, I've gone to a black and blue. Got the little blue sapphire twin tails. And if there's a bigger fish in there and they're eating right along with these smaller ones, they'll hammer that jig. Let's just see. Now the small ones will eat a jig too, but that's a hard meal for a good sized bass to pass up. Something slow, bulky. They don't have to chase very hard. They'll get after it. There's a bite. Got him. I don't know if he's not going to be real big either, but well, he's got some fight to him. He's bigger than the last one. I'll net him. He's a spot. He's liable to get crazy on me and throw water everywhere. Easy, easy. The little black. That's a bitsy bug. That's a 1/4 ounce bitsy bug with a blue sapphire twin tail trailer. Pretty little old fish. Check him out. Let's get him back. Now if they'll hit the jig, I will not pick the drop shot back up. These up here, I'll end up throwing them in the water. I'm gonna let my camera just run for a minute while I got a little something going on. Got the back camera still running. I think this ought to be pretty decent. Sun's gone away for a minute. I think that was a bite. I thought I hit something. I better check him. Yep. When in doubt, set the hook. See what we got. He's pulling pretty good. See if he'll come up here. I can see. I bet it's a spot. He's pulling me around. Whoa. I hope he picked that up. I think we found some fish. Get in the net there, Junior. I gotta get these fish trained a little better or they'll just swim right in the net. Black and blue, wintertime equals bass. How about that? Boats coming in, they didn't give up. But that's what we come out here for. That's why you go fishing in the winter. Get it back. I better check my line because these little old bass has got some teeth. Nope, no teeth marks. We're gonna put her right back in. See if we can't get another one. You guys hang out. We might get one more before we go home. It's getting cool, that sun behind the cloud. And my belly's telling me it's almost time for supper. It's hard to go eat supper with fish biting, but sometimes you just got to. Guys, I didn't have my camera off 2 minutes. I got whacked again. Man, this one's strong. I don't think he's no more. It's got to be another spot. He's too strong to not be a spot. Don't want to horse him, but got to get him in. Let's see. Still too deep. Easy, buddy. Alright, maybe that's up here. I see a flash. Oh, he don't like me. He does not like me. My little boat. Largemouth. I have stumbled up on largemouth and spotted bass together. This is the biggest of the day. And I'm gonna let today wind up on him. Oh. Or her. Like a blue jig. Big old fat large mouth. Easy, easy. I don't got a good hold on it. Biggest of the day. Probably 19, 20 inches. I'll take them all day. I'll come. Man, that fish is cold too. I'm sitting out here 22, 23, 4 feet of water, depending on where I drift. And I don't know how many. I think I've caught 4 or 5. Just that's fun. See you, girl. Guys, it's getting cool. Sun's behind the cloud. It's going down anyway, so I'm gonna wind it up on her. Maybe I can come back tomorrow. I don't know. I think the wind is supposed to blow pretty good tomorrow. I'm not a huge fan of 15-mile-an-hour wind, but I don't know, man. It's hard to not come back when you leave fish biting the day before. Quick recap. Ditches held fish today. It's a textbook wintertime place to fish. The little streams that come in, they run way out in the lake. They slope down. You've got a flat on each side of those. They're not hard to find. It's something you can run during the winter, just like a lot of people run points. Well, if you're around points, you're probably around some ditches as well. So don't overlook the middle of those pockets and follow them on out into deep water until it drops off, because you're going to miss some fish. And I've been guilty of that over the years, missing fish because all I did was fish points. Now I'm learning a little bit. If they're not on the points, they're probably not far off. Check the ditches. This was a point. I caught a fish on a point back behind me. So they've been in different places, but they have been in the wintertime textbook places, really close to deep water or in deep water, up close to shallow, or they can move up and feed when they get ready to feed. There's been bait fish everywhere that I have caught a fish today. When you find the bait, you start looking for the bass. You guys have a great day. Stay safe on the water. I will see you guys soon. If you see me out on the water, come say hi. I don't ever mind. Merry Christmas.